I'm Janine, and I decided to choose John Calvin as my educational thinker for this project. I didn't realize how many educational thinkers and philosophers there were, and there were so many to choose from. However, I chose John Calvin because I appreciated the fact that he believed and he knew the importance of putting God first, because he knew that unlike many other philosophers and thinkers, that without God, man is nothing. And without God and education, well, education is nothing too. John Calvin is probably most commonly known for the impact that he had on the Protestant Reformation. He was definitely a major player during that time period. He believed that God had called him to be the modern day Isaiah or Jeremiah, and he was known for searching the scriptures diligently. He also was a writer. One of his books, Summary of Christian Doctrine, elicited a huge response from people. John Calvin was overwhelmed by the positive response that he got from his book. However, he didn't take any credit for it. He gave God all the glory for it and said it was only because of his grace that it did so well. However, we are not here to discuss John Calvin and his impact on the Protestant Reformation, or as a modern day Isaiah or Jeremiah, or even as a writer. However, we are here to discuss his impact on education and what an impact he had. I seriously did not realize what a big impact he had on education until I started doing more research about him. Back then, the Catholics believed that ignorance was holiness, but John Calvin totally rejected that idea. In fact, he wanted to make sure that everyone had proper access to education. He believed that no matter what status somebody was, whether they were rich or poor, or whatever status they held, that they should have access to the proper education. He's actually known as the father of public education. Back then, the churches were responsible for educating the children. So he believed that the churches should also be able to fund education. However, parents were the front line to their child's education. And he believed that if parents neglected to do their duty as parents to make sure that their child got education, that they should be punished for neglecting to do so. He believed that the educated person was the person that could make the biggest difference in the world. He believed that God should be the central focus of education, and the sooner that a child was taught about it, the better. Because he thought and believed that how can man know himself if they don't even know who God is? He believed that since God had given man dominion over the plants and the animals, that man should know all about what God had put them in charge of. He believed that every child should be taught for the glory of God, and every subject, both sacred and secular, should be taught to glorify God as well. He wanted people to be effective in their careers, in government, in ministry, what have you, and he realized that the only way they could be effective is by putting God first in everything. There have been many critiques about him. According to the Aquila Report, wherever Calvinism went, colleges and universities were established. According to Joel Beeke, men and women who went to the Calvinistic universities were the most educated people in the United States and Western Europe. I greatly appreciated the fact that John Calvin realized the importance of God being the foundation of everything, including education, and that everything should be done for His glory. Thanks for watching.